Hey everyone, this is my honest review of No Rest for the Wicked, the Breach Refined patch. And it's not just an update, it's a shift in the way the game feels. I'll also talk about the bow, which has been my main weapon I've used throughout this patch. I played on the hardest difficulty, and I've got a lot to say about how it performs both early and late game. So, let's start with what I think about the current state of the game. I have some really positive things to say, and some really negative stuff. First things first, I honestly think the current game is in the best place it's ever been. The amount of content it has and the way you reach the end game feel solid enough to justify its price. And not just that, it's genuinely fun. Implementing difficulty realms now gives players who wanted an easier mode a reason to try the game, and hardcore players a reason to show just how masochistic they really are. The new quest from Eleanor also helps bring awareness to players who don't know there's a utility rune mechanic. The utility runes are just pure genius, as now you can have these runes separately from weapon runes. I personally started this patch with a fresh new character and a new realm at the hardest difficulty. The game now introduces a lot more tutorials, which I think is great for new players. The problem that comes with this is the healing aura rune. It's so good that I now see people saying it makes food consumables obsolete and lifesteal non-existent. The lifesteal, I agree, is so bad now that it's not worth having anymore. It's more like an afterthought. Before lifesteal wasn't bad. It was decent. Not too much. Not too little. I think it was the perfect amount. And I honestly have no idea why they nerfed it so badly. Like there are so many other things they should fix or nerf instead of good mechanics that actually work. Let's get back to the healing aura utility rune topic. In the first few hours, I never used any food at all. Even later in the game, I only found myself using food to buff my character with foods that give specific effects, like damage increase and health increase. I think this is how food consumables should be balanced. Each one should give buffs and a bit of healing. And the healing rune comes with a cost. You need to use focus. If you don't hit enemies and generate focus, you can't heal. Also, people who don't build around the focus stat and just want to play pure melee with stamina builds won't use the healing aura too much. If you find yourself in a boss fight with no focus, you'll still need to depend on food consumables a lot. I really think they nailed the utility rune and the healing aura's mechanics. It's well balanced. Unfortunately, lifesteal needs to be brought back to its original value. It's just not effective anymore. I understand the developers want to balance around the Ring of Determination, which lets you spam runes, but nerfing the lifesteal just to make that ring usable is bad design. Just remove the ring completely, or give it a different effect. We already have a ring that lets you use health instead of focus. The lifesteal is still decent if you invest a lot of enchantment effects into healing increase, but ultimately they nerf it too much. This is not just my personal opinion. Even all my friends who play this game say lifesteal has been nerfed way too much, and it's not worth investing in. Okay, let's move to a different topic. Another insanely good thing I've noticed is the performance. It drastically improved. I haven't touched the graphical settings, but the game feels amazing after the patch. Visually, it also seems to have improved. I'm not sure how to articulate it, but I'm seeing a kind of atmospheric effect on the graphics, which makes the whole game feel even more like a dark fantasy fairy tale. Now this also comes with a drawback. I lost track of how many times the screen simply went blurry on me, like the entire screen. This is a huge problem they need to fix, not just with bows, even with melee weapons. If the enemy moves away from you, the screen becomes blurry. Maybe there's a setting to turn it off, maybe not. But honestly, I need the game to work properly from its default state. And while we're here, let me just say, the amount of bugs I've encountered in this patch is the highest I've ever seen. I have hundreds of hours in this game, and in just the 30 or so hours I've spent in this patch alone, I've encountered more bugs than in all previous patches combined. Some of these bugs completely broke the game. I had to restart the Crucible multiple times because enemies kept getting stuck in textures. My wife got stuck in the war room and had to exit the game and use the load from last wisp option to get unstuck. Good thing they added that. I even had crashes. This has never happened before. The game completely crashed and closed with no error message. And I'm running this on a PC with an i9 core processor, 32GB of RAM, and an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4060 Ti. Should I really be getting crashes like that? But aside from that, the game runs incredibly smoothly. On the smaller details, I love how Sacrament City now changes depending on your main quest progression. They've added a lot of small visual and immersion tweaks. Eleanor and Whitaker, you no longer need to go through a loading screen to visit them. I even seen small fences around the birch trees near the exit to Marin Woods. I also love what they did with gems. They give us more options to craft builds now, but the grinding aspect feels harder. Even with the new resource gathering minigame, the amount of materials you get is laughable. You do get some XP and focus, but that's missing the point. We engage with the grind to get resources. If you land perfect hits, you should get more. It's that simple. For chests, you now need to buy recipes and craft them, which is a great idea, and I agree with. But again, resource gathering should be more rewarding. Chests now also come with red carpets and customizable designs, which is more of a visual feature than a practical one. Honestly, I still think we should only have one chest with multiple tabs, instead of filling our house with dozens of chests. Having higher stack sizes is nice, but my storage isn't full of resources. It's full of armor and weapons I want to try out. I need a lot of items to keep enchanting to get plague effects, so my house is full of chests with a lot of gear. The way we get materials, gems, and embers is still a hassle. Vendors offer the same stuff, and weapon upgrades feel even harder now. I tried getting to Marin Village to trade with the old lady early, but it seems I needed to complete all the other areas first. Even Lowland Meadows, before the gate to Marin Village opens. I wish they made this NPC available earlier, or added a different one who sells those materials. The Seneschal NPC in the Crucible's mid-chamber now sells new materials, fallen embers, and weapons. Huge plus. But you need to create a fresh realm to enable his shop. I don't know why, but none of my old realms have the updated shop. Even in the new realm, he only started selling new items the second time I visited him after unlocking his shop. Maybe a bug. Players will still create other realms and upgrade Greenwich's vendor to get rings and materials. It's just more efficient. Even with Seneschal's new shop, the game doesn't give players enough options to properly farm what they need. Right now, we have to wait an entire day for the shops to refresh, which feels unnecessarily slow. Just add a refresh option, maybe one that costs a bit of silver. But whatever you do, please don't make it cost fallen embers. That would completely defeat the purpose. We're trying to farm embers, not looking for new ways to waste them. There are also many monsters around the world that drop materials, but it's too random. We need a book or bestiary, something that tells us where to find enemies, what they drop, their lore, vulnerabilities. Just like in The Witcher or Monster Hunter, it would make hunting more strategic and less of a wild goose chase. Same with gems. We need better ways to get them. It's just too random. On the bright side, I'm happy that some furniture now gives buffs. So far I've found 2 types of beds you can craft. One gives a life increase, and the better one gives life and stamina boosts. I love this. It gives me a reason to come back home and literally rest the wicked a bit. Another amazing thing is that now petting cats or dogs in Sacrament gives you a health buff. I'm so happy they included this. I know a lot of you don't care about this kind of thing, but now there's an actual reason to interact with pets. Struggling with a boss? Go rest in bed, then pet a cat, then teleport to the wisp near the boss and start the fight with a huge boost to your health and stamina. I just love that we have so many ways to help improve. Not just the gameplay experience, but also give us a reason to interact with the more passive systems. Now, I want to talk about ranged builds, specifically the bow. This is how I feel about it. The bow now needs to be charged if you want to shoot from afar and deal decent damage. Sure, you can shoot quickly, but the range is short and the damage is practically non-existent. It also eats your entire stamina, so you have to charge this ugly red line, and then the arrow shoots automatically. The biggest problem? It's incredibly slow. It takes forever to charge, and it doesn't even count as a charged attack for most effects like normal attack damage increased after charge, or gain health on charged attack. Nope. It's a separate mechanic. You can't build around it. It's just a regular attack that happens to take way too long to activate, and it's not considered a charge attack. Most enemies will trample you before you can let the arrow fly. It's not a fun mechanic, and it really tested my patience. That said, I still played the entire game on the hardest difficulty using the bow. It can be done. It's okay. But all the other ranged weapons outclass it, and it gets worse. The rune attacks for all the bows were nerfed too. The cone shot used to be one of the best runes. It's now a complete waste of focus. so the best option is just the slow charge attack. I tried all the elements. For early to mid game, I found ice to be the best. It freezes enemies so you can reposition and charge the next shot. For late game, I removed the ice infusion and just used a rune in my main hand to freeze the enemy, then shattered them with the bow for bonus damage. And let's be honest, you can't deny this is the sluttiest outfit in the entire game. It took effort to find it, and now I just want more. Please give us more outfits like this. I've seen others using electric builds at endgame, but really the bow feels like a side weapon. I think that's how the devs intended it, or maybe that's how it feels. Every other ranged weapon is better in damage, range, speed, and overall feel. There are a few more things I want to mention, like enchantments. Some still feel awful. Health regeneration and focus regen are basically useless. Come on, who's going to waste an enchantment slot on something so slow and only active in combat? Either remove them or buff them, so they're actually viable. Same goes for other enchantments that were nerfed into oblivion. I think I'll talk about them in another video, as I can go rant about enchantments for probably another hour. That's pretty much it on the review for this patch. To summarize, the Breach and the Breach Refine are the biggest, most content-rich patches we've gotten. It offers a lot, and definitely justifies the price. It brings quality of life improvements and a wide range of difficulty options for players. But it also comes with bugs, slow bows, and mechanics that need serious tweaking. I honestly think that if a mechanic doesn't work with the rest of the game, remove it. Don't leave it there just to fill space. Don't nerf it until it's useless. Same with weapons. If the bow isn't fun and nobody uses it, just take it out. The game is still in early access, so there's hope for improvements. I just really hope the devs focus on adding content instead of constantly reworking mechanics that already work. Like seriously, my wife, who only played Stardew Valley and other chill games, is actually having fun playing No Rest for the Wicked on the hardest difficulty. I give her a few tips now and then, but it's mostly her playing through the game on her own. Most of the time I just tell her to grind a bit more and upgrade her gear if things feel too hard. And she actually does it. Next thing I know, she's tearing through bosses faster than I ever did. I strongly believe they didn't need to add an easy mode. Just keep one difficulty throughout the game, and add small side quests to teach players mechanics. Teach them they don't actually need to engage with enemies higher level than them. This game has way too much potential to keep bending in every direction, just to please everyone. The developers need to stay focused on their original vision, and trust in what made the game special to begin with. I keep saying this in my old videos. If they keep changing the core just to please everyone, they'll end up pleasing no one. I'm saying this with deep admiration and passion for the devs. I love this game, but it keeps adding unnecessary things to please everyone, instead of sticking to the original vision. It's changed a lot over the past year. I still love it, but I can slowly see it becoming more like every other generic game, losing the originality it had. It has the gameplay and the main quest, but I think it's missing the side content. We need quests that let us get lost in the world, that teach us how to farm, how to craft, how to enchant. Quests that are optional but add to the immersion and bring NPCs to life. Quests that help the core of the game, not change it. That's just my honest take. Don't mistake any of this as negativity. I genuinely love this game. And again, everything I say comes from a place of passion. This game has the potential to be so much more than just a boss rush playground. It could become the kind of where players return to, not just for the challenge, but for the story, the lore, the characters, and the memories that stay with them. That's what I want to see. The developers are incredibly hardworking, and it's clear they've been putting a lot of effort into this game. So with confidence, I can recommend No Rest for the Wicked to anyone new to the game. And if you're a returning player, there's a ton of new content waiting for you. I hope this video helped you consider giving the game a try. Now I know I pointed out a few negatives, but honestly, those are just small things from this latest patch. They barely scratch the surface of how massive and incredibly well made the game is overall. No Rest for the Wicked is in the best shape it's ever been. And those minor issues don't take away from the sheer quality and scale of the experience. And that's it. If you liked this video, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching.